women especially, they're very shy about their sexuality. As couples, if you want a threesome, for example, as the guy, so you're open to threesomes, like you want to explore a threesome, you want to bring in another girl, then you should be open to, another man digging your wife right there in front of you. It's the same thing. When I go to the gym and I see chest everywhere, I'm always confused, just like any guy would do, and you see different bum-bums and everything everywhere.
Are you supposed to be confused as a married woman?
My name is Jahbless.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
So we've been postponing like 3 times now. So I said, Iriti, come on my show. I want to talk to you. JOI.
Yeah.
So there's this boldness I see when you do your videos, and I'm like, this is strange. Extra. You hardly see women who could come out openly and talk about sex and things like that. I mean, it used to be something that everybody always tried to shy away from.
Yeah.
I mean, I think is our thing in Africa, right? There's a way we look at people when they, what gives you that boldness in the first place, though?
Well, so the boldness started from the fact that I realized that, women especially, they're very shy about their sexuality. They don't, you hear an average African woman when she's just meant to say sex and she's saying, that thing, that, and I'm always like, but why should we, why can't we just talk about this thing? Let's just hit the nail on the head. Let's talk about it the way we should. And another thing that I discovered is that I even realized that the ones that actually look like they can't even say these things are the ones that do a lot of crazy things behind. So I'm always like, come on, let's create a free community where we can actually talk about these things and just embrace the word sex. That's just being sex positive. I just want everyone to be sex positive.
There are 2 things that always open to learn about, right?
Okay.
Number 1 is drugs.
Okay.
Number 2 is sex.
Okay.
Because those 2 things are always like the evil, especially especially if you're raised in the Yoruba home, right?
True.
You can't talk about drugs and you can't talk about sex, right?
True.
Like you have to be, there has to be a certain level of closeness with maybe your parents or with your siblings before you can actually open up, and it affects a whole lot of people because people don't have the right information when it comes to things like this. And for me to see somebody like you, then Soul Spice,
Soul
Lord,
Spice.
I love her. I love her. She'll come up, she'll say all these things, and there are times that you guys will go into your DMs and be posting people's stories and you'll be like, so a whole lot of people are actually going through this and they just find it hard to to express themselves. Then many of them put the, please babe, keep me anonymous, don't let them. I say, you see the stigma there, right?
You see that particular one. Before I started this platform, I used to, I'm a fan of Joro Murphy. Joro Murphy. So I used to read the stories, and I used to see how people would bash him and be like, oh, maybe he's always forming stories and all. Then at some point I was also thinking in that manner, like, are you sure people actually go through this? So when I started my platform as well, and people started sending in stories, I was like, are you kidding me? So people actually go through this. So I'm happy to tell you that, in fact, I think the difference between us and Joro is that we don't just even take the stories, we actually engage them in therapy sessions. So people even come with worse stories, or even some that are good or beautiful experiences. There's some sexual experiences that even me myself, I'm like, oh wow, are you kidding me? So as in, there are people that are this open-minded and can explore this, and then there are some very crazy sexual experiences or even marital experiences as well, and you'll be shocked to the bone. So these stories are actually very true.
Nigeria is a place where not many people are open to things like open marriage. You can be married and have other sexual partners, things like that, and once you do it, it's abomination. It's abomination. But I think I think people are different, right? The way I say it, there are people with different kind of mindset, and they this is who they are. That is what they enjoy. That is how they, But I don't know,
So, now when it comes to that, like for me, I try to be as open as I can, just to help people understand that we are different sexual beings.
Yes.
People need to understand that. Like, we all can't be the same. So you probably hear about some person's sexuality, and you're like, hey, and we're coming to the era that different things are happening. Now let me say it from two different views. Like, first of all, let me say it from the professional point of view. From the professional point of view, I mean, we are allowed to accept everyone's sexuality. Whether you're homosexual, heterosexual, asexual, whatever kind of sexuality you are, we should allow you and, maybe educate you and guide you into becoming a better person. So you might just find yourself that you're attracted to, the same sex and you don't like it. Of course, we can help you come to the terms that I mean you can actually enjoy sex with the opposite gender and all of that, but then if that is who you are, then so be it. But then coming from a personal perspective, so in as much as I know that we should respect everybody's sexuality, for me, I'm a man-woman person. I'm not really the same gender, kind of like, I don't really fancy it, But what I'm trying to say here is that, we've come to the era that we should accept people's sexuality. There are different kinds of sexuality. Of course. Because you like men or you like women doesn't mean that the next person should be that way. And some people are also, so when we read some stories, and you be like, Irete, I'm not attracted to anybody. I don't like sex. I can't find myself enjoying sex. I don't know why. I'm married, but you hear different things. You'll be shocked that the person is asexual. No attraction whatsoever.
Oh,
there is, no matter what you do,
not to a man, not to a woman, just no
matter
attraction.
what, if you like dress skimpy.
Is that a medical condition?
It's not a medical condition. It's just a type of. It's just who they are.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, although for some people that are not so deep into it, therapy can help them overcome it. But then, if you are far gone into it, I would just. We'll just talk you into it, and maybe with time, or just accept the person the way is. The way the person is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there are some people like that.
So how did you get into it? This this is your profession, right?
Yes.
You do it professionally.
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
How did you become? We call you a sex therapist, right? So how did you become one?
Okay. So there are actually schools, institutes. Yeah. In
Nigeria?
No, not in Nigeria.
Okay.
Outside. Okay. So I enrolled at the Dr. Rachel's Institute in America.
Oh, okay.
So there are a lot of them. Yeah. UK,
so
Australia.
Be,
exactly. So we call it sexuality coaching, like a proper school, university.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah?
So
wow.
you can do it online or you can do it physically. You get to do practicals. You get to learn the anatomy of the female body, of the male body as well, just like you would do in medicine. Oh yes, so you learn everything, but just that in this aspect it's relating to the sexual aspect. So as a sexologist, I should be able to tell you everything about the female anatomy relating to sex, the male anatomy relating to sex. So, when people hear sex therapy, you're a sex therapist, what comes to their mind is that maybe you just wake up one day and you just feel like messing around on social media.
Yeah,
that's what people think.
That's exactly why I asked the question.
Okay.
Because I don't want people to think, oh, it's just somebody. I want them to know that, okay, this is a professional who knows what she's talking about.
Exactly. So that's what people think. And when it comes to sexuality coaching as well, there are actually different aspects. Just like you will go for medicine and you choose to be a surgeon, you choose to be is it a physician or a dental, a dentist, or different aspects like that. So in sexuality coaching too, you can choose to be any aspect. For example, we have teenagers, sex educators for teens, for children. That's another aspect. Okay, we also have sexuality coaches that are, tailored to couples, which is what I do. Teaching the art of pleasure. That's what I do specifically. So it doesn't mean that I don't have the knowledge in, educating children and teenagers and young adults, but I've just chosen to, master the art of pleasure. I have some of my colleagues that they just restrict themselves to, they are just sexuality coaches to women only. For some, just men only. For some, they actually deal with homosexuals. And for some, they deal with just children. But for me, I deal with couples, both men and women. And more importantly, that pleasure is a key thing for me. It's a key thing for me because I realize that it is causing a lot of problems. God, you don't want to know.
I can imagine.
People are going through a lot when it comes to sex. When you check out couples and you try to find out what's going on between them when they have issues, statistically, like 90% of marital issues or even relationship issues is
always
sex-based.
Start from sex. Yeah. Always start from sex. When the sex is crap, like
sex is crappy, and even when it looks as if it's something else that caused the fight, by the time you dig deep, you would, that is everything is still taking you back to sex.
So I've seen this kind of stories where men are actually gay, right, but they are married to a woman. And they live together in the same house, but the woman would not know. It takes time they just notice that they don't really have sexual attraction, and at some point they will now get to know that the guy is gay. This things like that is so common. Like I'm sure you've experienced a lot of it. Like they are married though, but they are guys, so they are married though, but they are more attractive to another guy like them, right? Like how do you take care of situations like that? So,
there's one thing that I usually encourage, and all of this too, it started from the fact that people are shy to accept who they are. They are shy to express themselves. Most couples, they just go into marriage or relationships without talking about their sexuality. They don't talk about sex. They don't want to talk about that aspect at all. So, some people consider good looks, God-fearing. Of course, everyone wants a God-fearing person, so no offense to looking out for a God-fearing person, but then we are more about the money, good looks. Then when you now get all of that, you now see that there's something that is more important, that is the big deal really in your union. So if couples actually talk, just imagine you have let's create this scenario now. So we want to get married, for example, right? Or we just I met you here at the LVD lounge, and things started going on well, and you're beginning to take interest in me, like, I think this babe, I'm going to marry her. I'm going to marry him. We should talk about sex. Do I like boys? Do I actually find myself getting attracted to men? Do I like anal? Do I like vaginal sex? Do I like oral? Do I like it crazy? Would I like to do threesomes and all of that? You should talk about these things. Of course, it looks weird.
It's weird. It's not like it is weird.
It sounds weird. It sounds like, hey, all hell will let loose. But talk about these things. Now, the reason why you're talking about these things is because your partner. What if your partner would never agree to such, or would never want to accept who you are? How are you going to cope with that in marriage? Do you understand? So when you try to shy away from these questions, right, and you pretend or you assume that all will be okay, then you get married. Of course, we all know that the first year of marriage, second year, everybody can form now, and you want to be yourself, just want to just try to make things okay. But the real you, your real partner, you will begin to show yourselves years after, and this is where the problem always come in. So you come up like 5 years after or 3 years after, and you're like, I'm thinking we should do a threesome, and you're looking at your husband or you're looking at your wife like, are you all right? Where is this coming from? Or your partner just tells you, I think I would can we try it now? And these are the little, they look little, like it's not a big deal, but these little things are what, actually amount to big things and cause a lot of problems. So when I have couples that, come to me in this situation, so you are gay and you still, to me, I feel it's selfishness, or okay, don't let me conclude it's selfishness. Let me call it ignorance, because it's just now in recent times that people are, accepting the fact that we can talk about sex. So you've gone deep into the relationship, then you're now realizing that, oh, maybe if I've
expressed myself before now, you would have known.
So if now you are just discovering that is who you are, I feel that because I'm also a therapist, I feel that there is nothing that therapy can't solve. It's just a mind conditioning. It's a mind condition. It can be reset. It can be worked on. Yes. It might not be immediate, but, with time, if you are also willing, it can be worked on. So if we have a couple that maybe the husband is gay, for example, so you begin to see that you're more attracted to men. First of all, why did you even marry your wife in the first place? But then let's say it's ignorance, like, oh, I have to get married, or I don't understand.
I wouldn't even say it's ignorant. I think many of them is based on societal value and pressure, what the society expects from you,
which is unfair. It's unfair because when you're attracted to your gender, for example, there's no way your wife won't feel left out. It's even more painful. I'm just imagining now, like, I should just no, I'm not going to take it. Do you understand? But then if you find yourself in such situations, it's first thing, when it comes to therapy, we usually always, a therapist can't force the client. So you can't force your client to have a mind reset.
Okay.
So we believe that
a certain kind of ideology.
Exactly. But for you to even reach out to a therapist in the first place, it means you're willing for a change. Yeah. So if you reach out to a therapist, I believe that you can get the change that you want. And in this case, if the gay person, whether a girl or the guy is, you want a change, the other partner, the partner should also be willing to assist, because you're not just going to wake up and say, I'm not interested anymore. It doesn't work that way. It's gradual, But then this is to all our, if you know this is what you want. Some people are stubborn too, whether you tell them to see a therapist or not. Like, men, I enjoy hanging out with men, like man to man, and there's nothing anybody can do to it. Then just divorce your wife and let her find a happy partner, someone else in peace. But some people are selfish, some people are selfish. Yeah. So you want to have your wife, but at the same time, you still want to be.
I think what they do is they want to keep the wife for the status. That's why I said societal status influences many people, because how would they see a 40-year-old man, right, and he's single, right? And it's better to be single instead of putting that person into that predicament.
Single, honestly.
Yeah, but because of the societal pressure, many of them would rather put the woman in the house and turn the woman to a couch. Like, they just look at it,
and still be getting down
and
with.
Still be getting down with.
Oh, goodness.
There's so many men out there. So and we live in a society that they do not embrace such.
Exactly, because if you were in a society maybe out of Africa where such are celebrated, you'll be able to.
In a place like US, it's legal.
Yeah,
it's legal to be gay.
You'll be able to come out and so instead of putting another woman in a box, it's just better. It's Mr. Kule that you feel you want to be digging now, and that's your so no problem, it's fine. That's who you are. That is your own life. That's what you want for yourself, so no problem, and it should be respected, but it's more painful when you know that you want to be with Mr. Kunle. That's who you want to be. You want to be digging. You find his ass sexy or something. Then go and meet your Mr. Kunle. Why are you chilling with Cynthia? So but then the reason why that is also rampant here too is because we're in Africa. such is not embraced, not even celebrated.
It is illegal. You actually can go to jail for 21 years.
They can even lynch you. Yeah. Like if you go out there and say, "Oh, just scream, I'm gay," like without even investigating whether you're joking or not, they just put tire on your neck and that's the end. So so we have, like, let me tell you about a couple. There was a couple sometimes ago. They live in the US. Yeah, so it was the husband that reached out first, and it was like, Iriti, I mean, sex in my marriage, I think I'm no longer attracted to my wife. And then he actually came out straight to me and all of that, and I was like, okay. So in situations like that, when you just say many things like that, we usually would not just want to talk to you alone. It's always better when you bring in your partner, so we can actually tell the exact issue and give solutions. So he finally brought, it was tough to bring in his wife, but then we eventually did that. And by the time we got talking, I found out that there was nothing wrong with the woman. Nothing. He just wanted more. Okay. So he said he wants a threesome.
Okay.
He wants he listed everything. He wants to have sex in the car. He wants to have sex, I think he said in the bush, something like that. You know that, let's see, that sometimes when you've stayed abroad for too long, you think it's to enter it's entire, which is understandable. So when it was like, oh, he wants to have sex in the bush, I'm very adventurous too, so there's some things that I don't see it as a big deal. Like, with your partner, have fun, enjoy yourself, but then it's a big deal when you have a partner that's is not willing to do all of those things to you. It becomes a problem. So in this man's case, they actually enjoy good sex together, because we call it evaluation. You ask questions, very deep questions, and from what I could deduce, there was really nothing wrong. Their sex life was actually okay, but then the man insisted that he wanted a threesome. So I had to remind him that, sir, I know you have your fantasies and all of that, but there's also what we call boundaries in sex, right? This is why we always encourage couples to discuss these things, so whether you are just getting married or you're just getting to a relationship or you're even in the relationship, you should talk about sex all the time, so that where what your partner wants, your fantasies can align, so he's been fantasizing about this, then he just came out straight and said, babe, let's have a threesome. I said, a normal African woman will tell you, Nibo, never. And so it became a big problem, and I was like, sir, it's not going to be easy that way. From what I can see from your wife, she's just like any normal wife that is just enjoying sex in her own best way. So you just bringing up a threesome, first of all, you're married. In as much as I'm a fan of you can express yourself, you can explore your fantasies, and all of that, but I also understand that when you're married, there's a limit to everything you can do.
But in situation like that, if he goes out to, because if he's boxed up, money will get him a threesome in like
seconds,
right? In like seconds. So if he goes out to explore his fantasies, right, and the wife gets to know, isn't that going to still cause problem in the marriage? And is that not like violating what marriage is?
Of course it is. And this is where limits and boundaries also come to play. So when you're married, you have there's some fantasies that I have that I can't do anymore because I'm married. I only think about it in my head, and I tell myself, babe,
but why?
It's over.
Why? Coming from somebody like you, why can't you discuss it with your husband and say, okay, I have these fantasies,
because
can we do it?
There are some things that he would not agree to. Do you get? There's some things he won't agree to.
Why?
There's some things. So what I'm trying to say is that, and then like now, for example, I have some friends, like my very good friends. They are married, like 12 years in marriage, and they are happily exploring threesomes. Like it was even through them that I got to find out that in this our Lagos, I mean there are coded what they call it, coded services that they bring in what's it called, a
third party.
I mean anyone you want. How do you want it? Bigger, slim, anyhow you want it. And they also know their job ethics. They do their job and they go. They don't even exchange numbers. Maybe you even want them to wear mask. They don't have to show their faces. I was like, ooh, wow.
People do those services in Lagos.
Yes. I have some friends that they do it. And what I'm trying to say here is, like, those friends of mine now, both the husband and wife, their fantasies are aligned. Like, the husband does not see a big deal. The wife does not see a big deal in it. So they are enjoying themselves.
Like, you have friends, I have friends too. And, and one thing I've noticed when it comes to my friends is... when they discuss with their wife, like, okay, would they try a threesome, right? And their wife would be like, okay, are we bringing in a guy or are we bringing in a chick?
That's another one. That's another one.
And the guy would be like, how will you bring in a guy? Are you dumb? We're bringing in a chick. And the woman would be like, no. As long as you're bringing in a chick, no.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, now you have... Okay, so, see, I like it when couples... Don't be selfish. I mean, if you feel there's some things you would like to explore, maybe some very extreme things, we can't deny the fact that threesome is extreme. I mean, especially for married couples. That's going beyond the, is it bar, how am I going to put it, But then if you want to exploit, fine. I mean, it should mean that both of you, I mean, your sexual knowledge or your fantasies align, no problem. If you want a threesome, so as couples, if you want a threesome, for example, as the guy, so you're open to threesomes, like you want to explore a threesome, you want to bring in another girl, then you should be open to, another man digging your wife right there in front of you. It's the same thing.
No, it's different.
It's the same thing.
Let me tell you it's
so different. You think I don't... okay, let's say you and I were couples, for example. Then you now bring in, and I mean, you're like, we should do a threesome. Then I agree to it. You bring in another babe. You think I'll not be jealous? I don't have feelings. I mean, I'll be like, oh, okay.
Like you said, if our sexual fantasies are aligned, you shouldn't be jealous.
Okay, I would not be jealous, but then I've also got blood running in my veins. Then I also desire the same thing. I also want a threesome. I want it with another guy.
But let's take it. Let's take it back to the basics now. Let's take it back to the basics. Men and women are wired differently.
Okay.
We all know that. Right? Men get more jealous. Men are more possessive. We want a submissive partner, right? It raises a man's ego when he's in his bed with two beautiful women.
Oh, yeah, right.
It gives that man the level that, okay, I've arrived. This is me. That's for men.
Okay.
Right? It's different from the way women are wired. Right?
Who said?
I said.
Okay. So I'm happy to tell you that, see, there's something I always say. Anytime I say it, it's always looking like, this girl is a bad girl. Or no. But it's just reality. See, there's something in sexuality. The truth is that the same way you think men are wired to be sexual beings, I'm sorry to shock you that women are even more sexual than men. Now, the reason why it looks as if men can, easily accommodate all those things is because of the way Africa is. So we make it look like it's all about the men. I mean Africa now, it's a man thing, it's a man thing. World, yeah. So for women, because they also have this mentality, they're kind of caged, they're in their own world. They are scared to be themselves. They are scared to speak out, even when they actually, want some things, they desire some things. So when it comes to attraction to the opposite sex or having multiple partners, women also desire it. Trust me. Now, I know that some women will say, I rebuke it in Jesus' name. What is she saying? Yes. Why? Because of the way the whole system is conditioned. It's normal. I mean, women naturally, you want to pose as the virtuous woman, the holy woman, the saints, which is not bad.
So you're saying the same way we guys will sit in the club and see a beautiful girl and be like, oh my bad.
Oh yes,
it's the same way you.
Very well,
like
very well,
bad girl.
Very well. When I go to the gym and I see chest everywhere, I'm always confused, just like any guy would do. And you see different bums and everything. Everywhere.
Are you supposed to be confused as a married woman?
No, I'm just being real, though. I'm just being real. You know, that's why I said that.
Real,
when I talk, it might look like, oh, maybe this girl is a bad girl. But I'm just being real here, honestly. You know, every woman will not accept that, or some women will not accept that.
Yeah,
everybody wants to act like, no, it's just all about my husband and
value,
all of that,
societal,
you know, and all of
expectations.
That. But the truth is that, you see men that are hot, and you stare like, oh God, okay, and then you remind yourself that, oh babe, you're married, just calm down.
But would you say it's easier for you guys to control yourself compared to men?
So this is where it is. So because there's just this thing out there, it's a man's world, I feel that it has made majority of the men not to caution themselves and just feel that they can just get away with anything. Then for the women, right, sometimes they desire these things as well, you know, they want to explore and all, but because of the way the society would see them, they naturally discipline themselves. You get it now. So they naturally discipline themselves, and you know, no, you don't have to do that. No, this is who you are. No, this is what you portray to the people, and you know, just maintain this, and so be it.
Which is right.
It's
the right moral value.
But trust me, yeah, if they put all of us, maybe God should just declare that today, you know, everybody are free to do anyhow. Don't worry, I'm not going to record your sins. Nothing. You will be shocked that it is women that will do a lot. Do you get? So so what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, as a man, yes, you are quick to conclude that it's a man's world and all of that, but you should have, there's what we call feelings for your woman. You should, if you guys bond really well and you connect really well to your partner, at some point when your partner is hurt, you should feel the hurt as well. So when you do some things, it hurts your partner. Why should you do it? You know it's going to hurt your partner. So if you want to do a threesome, for example, and she's going to frown at the fact that you're going to be with another girl, why do you want to do it? If she's not giving into such, then there's no point doing it. There's so many ways you can do a threesome, serious, honestly, without involving a human. Let me put it that way.
How?
Yes, now, so we've got make-believe toys. Yes. Seriously. See, like a threesome, like a woman that craves a threesome now,
so I'll do a threesome with my wife and a doll.
Yeah, I think
that's one enough song.
It's still a threesome, whether you like it or not. The fact remains that you're in a sexual encounter with someone else or something else. Do you get it? And for the woman as well. So you want a threesome, maybe you have a dildo stuck somewhere. Yeah, that's what you would do if you're dealing with a human now, you know. Or better still, just take your mind off it. Like,
I think the dildo thing works more
for ladies.
I don't think dildo works for guys.
Hey, must these guys must they do threesomes? Really?
Of course. Like you said in the beginning of this conversation, that people have fantasies, right? There are people that can even go above threesomes. They can do fivesomes.
I know.
Yeah, there are guys like that, and it's not even just about the player. I think it's a fulfillment for them. They just see it as okay, this is me, you know, and it gives men some kind of ego that is. I've heard stories. I know guys that they can be with 5-6 girls at a time. Yeah, and they don't see anything wrong in it, you know. But as much as it might be weird to someone like me, right? it's normal to them, and I don't judge them for it. I just know that I just know, okay, this is who they are, and you know. But there's this thing that I've noticed about men, right? We always have this superior mindset when it comes to sexuality.
Yeah, true. You're right.
And many women too, right? There is always an expectation. He's the man. Let him.
That's what I'm saying.
Take control.
It's the way the society has shaped us. That's why. You see, when it comes to threesomes, foursomes, anal, whatever you want to do. I mean, for me, I don't see any big deal as long as both of you are okay with it. I mean, I don't see it as a big deal. I only have a problem when, you never really talked about it and you're trying to impose maybe your newfound fantasy, to your partner, rather.
Okay, go on.
So it's, to me, it's it doesn't make sense.
What about men that are married to multiple women? His Majesty Oni of Ife, he's married to about over 7 women, right?
Yeah, he's doing well.
7.
He's doing well.
No, so how do you expect somebody like that? Because he cannot sleep with a woman every night, right? So at some point in that matrimonial lifestyle, in that polygamous lifestyle they're living, right? I'm sure he's going to have multiple women on his bed at the same time.
And he may not too. You'll be shocked. He may not.
So
he may not.
But let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How do you think those women see that arrangement?
To each its own. How am I going to put it? So, some women are, should I say, polygamous in nature too. Some women don't have issues. You're with your woman as long as I'm in my own space, and when I feel like having sex, or when we discuss sex, or we want to have sex, you're always available for me. Even if you are with 20 women, just be available for me when I need you.
So some women don't mind.
Some women don't mind. Some women don't mind. Although for me, I mind. But then some women do not mind.
Yeah, but if we look at, let's go back to the Stone Age now.
Okay.
Right? If we look at our great-great-grandfathers, right? I'm not going to talk about the grandmothers now. I'm talking about the grandfathers. Yes, grandfathers today, because this is Africa. I've had conversations with even elderly people that they're like in their 80s, and when you ask them questions like, your father, how many wives does they have? Those people never practiced anything monogamy.
Yeah,
it's always polygamy. If you ask questions now, your great Issa, how many wives does your popsy have?
2.
Your popsy, your popsy grandpa?
3.
Yeah,
I can tell you that this generation, let me say the baby boomers, the 80s, early 90s, are the ones that are sticking to this monogamy.
One woman.
It has always been multiple women for African men since those days. Those days, right? They are you hardly find, although there are some that is just one man, but you hardly see them. Do you think it is in our DNA as Africans to be cool with multiple women?
Well, no. Do you know why? I'm a fan of, not like I'm into gender equality or stuff like that, but I feel, maybe based on my level of exposure, whatever a man can do, a woman can do better. So if you feel that,
I disagree.
Okay, wait. Why do you think that you as a man, you can have multiple wives? And who said that I don't feel like having sex with multiple men.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm looking at it from our ancestors' point of view.
Okay.
You know, those days, right? They actually bring women to them. Like, okay, marry this one.
All of that has been the way they were all shaped to. You know, seriously.
Yeah. So
and that's
is that wrong?
Well, honestly, I feel like if we want to go with the way of the Bible now.
No.
So let's not put let's not put Bible into
because inside the Bible, okay.
I know that
let's go to the Bible.
There are places in the Bible
let's go to the Bible.
that they talked about polygamy and all of that. I know. But if we really want to talk about like the New Testament, we want to talk about really the way, in churches, what is being preached, is usually a one man, one woman union.
Yeah, but
you understand?
I understand what you're saying, but as far as I'm concerned and what I've learned, right, when it comes to the Bible, the most blessed man in the Bible.
Hey, you guys are always studying the Bible upside down.
Guys, I'm rapping Abby.
You guys always study the Bible upside down.
No, we're not studying up. The most blessed human that has ever lived.
Okay.
In the Bible is King Solomon.
True.
There's nobody before him and there's none after him. And he has 300 wives.
Okay.
700 concubines.
So that's...
And if there is an heaven somewhere, that guy is right beside God.
How do you know?
Because God said he's the most blessed man. He blessed him.
Yeah.
So
he was favored. But then that does not mean that every man that decides to do what he did would also find the same favor. I think it's
why not?
Why not? You know this now.
See?
There's some men that I don't want to mention anybody's name here, but we've had some cases whereby you would go and do what you're not meant to do and you die there, or the girl will kill you or something.
Of course.
We hear of different things like that.
Of course.
What I'm just saying, like I said, I'm not rigid. I'm very flexible when it comes to your fantasies, when it comes to anything. I'm highly adventurous. So if you want a particular thing, if I'm down for it, why not? We'll all explore and have fun together.
All I'm saying is
okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, all I'm saying is I think this whole monogamy idea of one man, one woman does not really work. There are few men that can stick to it, but I can tell you that most men, right, can't.
I know. Don't get me wrong. I know that. I say it all the time that I say it to people that, especially marriages, like, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but then at some point in marriage, there will be a time that you might not really be attracted to your partner anymore. It happens. And because some partners have not been able to manage it well, that's why they are always having issues, sexual issues and all of that. So these times would come. It can happen. It happens all the time. It's a phase, But then when these phases come, these phases are just to let us know that, naturally, the way man is made, you can't just be with one partner forever. Like...
What do you mean by the way man is made?
The way, how am I going to put it? Nature. Just like you said this one man, one woman thing does not really work. So I'm trying to agree with you that I understand that. What you're saying is true. But what has made some people different to be able to stick to a partner for the rest of their lives is the fact that they were just disciplined. That's it. Because if you take away self-discipline, if you take away self-discipline and all of that, even though Solomon was lucky and he was favored by God, what makes you think that you're going to get the same treatment from God? God is going to, God loves everyone, but then we know that he loves some people more, especially than some people.
Okay. If you look at what the Holy Quran says,
okay,
right, Holy Quran actually supported polygamy, right? But there's a clause to it, right? And the clause is as long as you can treat them equally.
Now, can he treat them equally? No. Even when you have a normal side chick, the side chick is trying to be the wife or trying to shift the wife to one corner. Where is the love there? It can never be equal. And the reason why the side chick is always having shoulders to do that is because you're beginning to place the side chick above your wife. I mean, I'm a lady too. If you make me feel so special, I begin to see myself as the queen of your life. So even though you have someone and the person doesn't really matter anymore, as long as I'm concerned, I'm the queen of your life. But so you can see that, you can see the clause. Is it treating them equally? If it's treating them equally, I don't think that there will be issues between side chicks and wives.